Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the author, Andrew Snorton, and you're joining me for the Fast 15. As we usually do about this time each and every Wednesday, we take up to about 15 minutes usually to kind of pause, check up, check in, enjoy an encouraging note, and then close out on a positive note. So I want to thank everybody who takes time to stay connected with me. So if you haven't already, add the Facebook page, author Andrew Snorton. Add Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at author A Snorton. And when you click on the link in the bio for author A Snorton on Instagram, you're able to pull a copy of my press and media kit, look at all the interviews, and then continue to navigate through the site for just about anything, book signings, special events, things along those lines. So I just want to take a moment to thank everybody who's taking time to support me near and far, locally and not so local. Just want to just say thank you to everybody. And as we get into this, as we normally do, we always take time to acknowledge people that might be going through some things. And there's been a lot of, like any time, there's a lot of moving parts going on. Yes, we know that there's still effects of the pandemic taking place, so that directly and indirectly has definitely impacted some things. We know people are going through some physical health, mental health, job related, family related, community related. There are a number of things that are going on that can be very challenging and very trying. We want to send a word of encouragement to folks saying it's all right for you to feel some kind of way, because we're human and we're going to experience some level of emotion, and sometimes we articulate it in a calm, controlled way, and sometimes it's far from it. So like I said, you have every right to feel some kind of way, but the bigger right you have is to identify ways to constructively pause, constructively pivot, so that way you can be the person that you need to be, that you're capable of being, and that others need you. Just need your presence around. So as I've said before, and I've said again, if what you need requires, professional help, you have to change up your circles, things along those lines. Identify constructive ways to help you pull through and get through, because ultimately we need you to pull through and get through. By the same token, we know there's people who are going through some positives, people celebrating birthdays, to new job, and other new and exciting, positive, constructive things going on. And to anyone going through, some positives, definitely celebrate, because you know what you've had to work through, what you've been led through in order to get there. Don't overdo it, but make sure you take time to celebrate, feed off the positive energy, and use that as a springboard for the next great thing that you're going to do. In the meantime, let's not forget those who might be going through some challenges. So today we're going to pull from one of my faves, 9 Stories of Faith, Volume 1. And I want to pull on a couple, just one simple thing that hopefully can help somebody, and things along those lines. And I'll read a portion of it afterward, because again, it is a cross-faith talk, Christianity, Hinduism, and Islam, and people opening up about what their biggest daily challenge is, but what they use, not only through the lens of their faith, best practices in health and wellness, their support network, and changing their way of thinking. And I'm just going to read this, and hopefully it'll help somebody out there. Do you have to do things the exact same way they do? Not necessarily. However, I am hopeful that you recognize the following takeaways. Everyone has merit, worth, and value. Everyone is dealing with something that is truly challenging and can affect you to your core. Everyone has identified a workable or constructive way to live with, work through, manage, and overcome their challenges to live as productive a life as possible. Conventional or unconventional, there are ways to work through challenges to where you don't have to be consumed by them. Having a support system clearly can help. Likewise, there are times you have to encourage yourself. Be open to sharing, encouraging, and empowering others. When people see how you work through something, you never know how it can give people the hope and impetus to revisit their life's hurdles. Likewise, you never know how you truly can motivate others by the way you work through whatever it is you are working through. Those are the main takeaways that I want people to have from all the different individual stories, interviews, testimonies, and what have you. Now, I do understand that when certain life challenges happen, especially if they're coming out of, left field, out of nowhere, it can be tough. And I know that, for example, people in the Norcross, Georgia community, especially those who are in their late 20s, early 30s, have had two situations hit close to home with the untimely passing of Bradley Coleman. So for people in Metro Atlanta, about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, the gentleman who was at a Quick Trip putting air in his tire and basically in the process getting carjacked, got shot and killed. And then another young lady whose passing I learned of yesterday, Andrea Cornelius, it kind of hits, both of them hit close because at the time that I taught, both of them were students at the school where I taught, one of whom was in my classes. So when those types of life challenges happen, it is hard. It is difficult when we're trying to process things that make no sense. It can be real tough to keep your faith. It can be real tough to stay motivated and encouraged. So it's almost like, what do you say to someone along those lines? Yes, you celebrate the life. Yes, you focus on being as proactive as possible in regards to whatever, disconnects are out there. What can we do to draw better connections, draw better bonds, and minimize the potential of some things happening? And I know it's tough to have faith in times of turmoil and turbulence. It is very difficult to do so. But then we have to think about, and I've always pulled these historical examples, there are people who live through trials and tribulations and turbulency. And that's part of the reason that we're here. So during those times of duress, do we have to pause? Do we have to reboot? Do we have to go through our emotions? Sometimes are our emotions going to be raw? Absolutely. And then we have to ask ourselves, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, where do we go from here? Why we can't wait? What do we do at this point? And I'll say this, when we process those types of losses and understand how it feels and understand that as best as possible, we don't want people to go through that. We may not ever fully solve something, but we know without any action, we're not going to solve it. So to my colleagues there in that community and any other communities, yes, there are trying times, there are tough times, and there's times that are going to affect us to our core. And sometimes it is sure not pretty, and it's not pleasant, and you might not be as polite, professional, smooth, sophisticated, however you want to call it. But after you have those moments, we all have to do what we can to pick up the pieces. What can we do to move forward? And what can we do to say, how can we leave a positive footprint in what is definitely an adversarial or messy or negative situation? So that's kind of one of the takeaways from what I pulled from 9 Stories of Faith, Volume 1. And hopefully that gives somebody some motivation and encouragement for today. So a couple of quick announcements. July 30th, for those in Bloomington, Illinois, make sure to join me at Miller Park on Saturday, July 30th for the Cultural Festival. I'll be one of the participating authors and hopefully speakers, we'll see. But thank you grateful for the opportunity to go back to Bloomington. A couple other things on the horizon. Of course, shouts to really everybody. And I say that because there have been some good things happening. There have been some things that haven't gone that well. There have been some delays. There have been some slowdowns. There have been some things that always haven't gone as fluidly as they appear to be. But I am grateful for those people, and you've heard this term, they're speaking life into me. They're speaking life into others. That even though, yes, you have to encourage yourself, getting a little bit of constructive encouragement is a good thing. So to everybody who's doing those types of things, not only just for me, but for anyone, we thank you and applaud you for that. And just, I thank everybody who's supporting all the books, all the audio books, any book signings, any speaking engagements. Recent thanks to the Negro Southern League Museum, as well as the show Talk of Alabama on ABC 3340 in Birmingham, Alabama, as well as the Fox affiliate in Birmingham, Alabama, for coming out on site when I was doing my book signing at the Negro Southern League Museum in Birmingham. And I guess really just it's always good to take a moment to pause, reflect, say thank you, acknowledge people for what they do. And I'll say this, even though we might not get everything perfect, if we can get it close to being a little bit better, then I think most people can live with that and work with that. And that's the hope. If we can be just a little bit better than the day before, individually, collectively, within our families, community-wise, things of that nature, if we can be just a little bit better than we were the day before. It might not be perfect, and it doesn't mean there are not going to be some challenging times, but we can put ourselves in a better position to pull through and get through. So on that note, as a reminder, again, you can stay connected with me on Facebook at the page Author Andrew Snorton, AUTHOR ANDREW SNORTON. Add me at Author A Snorton on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. When you add me on Instagram, click on the link in the bio. That way you'll see my press and media kit, all the awesome interviews I've been able to do, and I thank each and every outlet for allowing me the opportunity to be on their platform. And, you know, whether small or big, a victory is a victory, whether slow or swift, movement is movement. Continue to be victorious and continue to keep it moving in as positive and powerful and impactful way as possible. So until next time, everybody, all of you take very good care. I will see you again next week. Take care. Well, hopefully sooner, but you guys know what I mean. All right, I'll see you soon.